Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon. Today is December the 15th, 2022. Trading and investing of any kind carries risk. Everything discussed here is for entertainment purposes only and not to be taken as financial advice because I don't give advice. First and foremost, like, subscribe, and do the things. Click the notification bell if you want to be notified of all of my talkings. And then, share, all that fun stuff. So let's look at what's going on with the stock market. Didn't make a video yesterday because I was doing some family stuff, had some family things I need to take care of. So, such is life. So, family first, right? The way I roll. So let's look at this. Yesterday, this trend line that was supporting this bear market rally, we kind of bumped into it. Not kind of, we did bump into it. Into the FOMC meeting. Let's get a little closer. Let's zoom in just a wee bit more. There we go. So we bumped into it, FOMC, FOMC, and then meeting, and then we pulled and did the stuff, right? I mean, that's just kind of what happens. Nothing. In my opinion, it's just priced in, right? I mean, what happened yesterday is pretty much priced in. And nothing that Powell said, he did not look confident, and nothing that Powell said really gave me any confidence whatsoever. Even if this market were to turn and rip tomorrow and just rip up to 440s, I still wouldn't have confidence that it was going to stay up there. Now, I don't think that's going to happen necessarily, but, this market has been really interesting. So, what we did today is, we started to pull, right? We had a downward move. I wouldn't call it a significant market pull. Last night we had a gap down to start the day, and then we have this, wick that kind of took us back up to basically fill that gap in the pre-market. But then, we pulled. And I woke up a bit late, so I didn't catch any of that. But this move today, I traded. So and this is just basically still within this range of this, kind of ever expanding whipsaw looking dealio that's going on here, right? This broadening. And, to me, that's really all I'm seeing right now, right? If this were a legitimate move based upon all of the consolidation in this area, we would be having much more significant moves. So tomorrow's quad witching. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I'm not looking at this as, oh, this is the start of the move down to 320 or 300 because, it could be, but we're still within this kind of broadening pattern that's been going on. Well, it's just something that I've mentioned before, and it's something that I'm still seeing. So until we break out of that in either direction, I wouldn't really look for a necessarily a significant move. On the way down, we have a lot of places for support, right? So why did we stop here today? Well, we have support here, right? This is the first kind of line in the sand as we pull through this previous low area, right? Previous low area is here. And then there's a trend line here that I put there, but and I treat trend lines like areas, right? Because there's a lot of different places in here we can start to settle, right? And this doesn't mean we're going to turn around and start pushing in the other direction. People are taking profit. I would like to see some kind of retracement because that's just how it goes when people take profit. But we get in this area and then we'll figure out, right? People take profit, and then what should happen is we'll come back down and then we'll do some retesting, and then we'll make a choice from there, and we'll see what the market gives us, at that time. Do we pull down into this next area, this next level of support, this next area of support, and then keep coming down? And every time we hit them, that's kind of the thing you can expect. You can expect it to pump the brakes a bit. You can look here and that's what happened, right? So we started pumping the brakes on the way down. Here we pumped the brakes. Here we started pumping brakes, right? And we got down to these next area. here, if I recall correctly. Yeah, we started pumping the brakes here. And then our final area was kind of this level right here. And now we're back up just below this previous low, right? And so that will be our resistance. So if we start popping through that, our next levels of resistance are going to be these areas here, right? And we'll start doing the same thing on the way back up if we happen to push back up. I would like to see, I don't know. I would like to see us actually pull more if we're going to stay in this broadening area, but we'll see how it goes. I would like to see us pull down a bit more, even touch at least this area here would be nice. But, who knows if that's going to happen. So we'll see. We'll play what it gives us. But if we can do that, then we can legitimately start looking in these areas for support and then look for something to kind of turn around and start taking us back the other direction. But we'll see what quad witching gives us tomorrow and kind of, determine from there. But like I said, I don't think this is a, a pull to start taking us down into the 320s necessarily. But it could be, as we say. So yeah, what else do we have here? What else can we talk about? Don't think there's a whole lot more to talk about unless, we can dive into the day and kind of look at what happened today. But really, it was just a trending day, right? A downtrend day. And on these days, what I tend to look for is, if I happen to play these the right way, what I will look for is something like maybe like this. Yeah, that works out fairly well. So what that gives me is an idea of where I need to start looking and saying, okay, that's a potential reversal coming, right? So, but we're moving a bit sideways through this area. We're not popping through it necessarily. So this is kind of, I don't know exactly the terminology I would use for it, but looking at this line, this looks like a nice trend line to me because of the kind of the angle that it's at. And so then what I'll do, especially when we get these more rapid moves, so I will draw a second trend line, which would be something like that. And then I will draw a third trend line that'll look something. Now this is going to be half bleeped because, I'm not zoomed too terribly far in here. So then when I start doing, so these are 3 trend lines that I will tend to draw on days like today. And it'll start to tell me, should I be looking for reversals or not? And I wouldn't call this necessarily a strategy. Maybe it is, I don't know. But what I will tend to do, especially if I get this third pull here, what I'll start to do is, I might not take, I'll take profit at certain areas, but I might not take additional profit. I might save it on these bigger pulls until we start popping back through this line. And the reason for that is it's pretty extreme, and eventually it's going to stop and it's going to reverse. And if you were to kind of measure that out, I couldn't, what did we get to today? What's that, the reversal of there? I would have to start measuring all these things out to kind of see what that looks like. But anyway, we're going to talk about basic. Oh my goodness. Wow. We're going to talk about more basic stuff here instead of getting crazy measurements though. So, we start popping back through this. I'll take profit. If we start popping back through here, I'll take some more profit, because that's telling me we've now broken 2 of these trend lines. Now, these are not extreme. We popped through this one, but it wasn't a significant move, right? And so what I'll do at that point is just kind of draw not a trend line, but a support resistance line here. And if what I look across here, I started seeing these wicks, makes me a little bit less concerned, right? And so it'll just continue down, right? And now keep in mind, this is hindsight, and hindsight is so much more clear. when you're trading these, it can be a bit more stressful, especially if you miss the beginning of the move or any of that. Like, I mean, I understand this, and I'm making that very clear. I understand how easy it is to go back and say, oh, okay, well, this is what you should be doing. But then, so now back to what we're talking about here. As this move starts to happen here, it pulls again, and it moves up, right? So now where did we move up to? This area here. Right, this area kind of became our resistance. So this, inverse head and shoulders, like this area right here, where this area of these shoulders kind of became our resistance. That's good. That's what I want to see. And so then we've got that area there. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw another trend line. And that gives me an idea of how we're trading, or okay, we're staying in this downward move still, right? So we get a continuation down. Then we get what looks to be something like a tweezer at the bottom here, and it moves up, probably just profit taking. Boom, hits our trend line, continues to move down. So, and you start to notice like most of our moves up, even when we start breaking these trend lines, they're not significant moves. And now we're still riding down this trend line. And then we start moving sideways, and there's not really what I would consider a curl yet, right? So, and then, here we are. We can draw another trend line here once that move is done, right? But this goes into the same rule again, where, okay, we've got this more extreme move down. So here we are. I'm going to draw this extreme move again, okay? And we get through here, we're moving sideways. We're not popping through, right? We're not actually having any significant push through these trend lines necessarily. This one, we started to a little bit, right? We came through, got to here, we found a little bit of support, and then we kind of launched a bit. And so, that is where you can start saying, okay, now we're starting to see what I would consider more of a curl, because we've come down here, and this looks like it could even try to build another inverse head and shoulders if we were to go to a bigger timeline. And so, if we were to start breaking, we never made it back through this trend line. So technically there wouldn't be a reason to exit the trade, but when is enough, right? But hell, this thing could keep pulling into tomorrow. Now, do you want to sit in it through the middle of the night? If I'm not swinging something, I'm not sitting in it overnight. I'm getting out of it. There's a reason you have those market close or on close orders, because, so a lot of people just don't want to sit in. I definitely don't. So, but if you look, we're in this support area that I drew earlier over here, right? We're still sitting in this support area. So we'll see how it goes. We'll have to see if it turns around. But just to get an idea, like even, I do lots of different measurements, harmonics, and things of that nature when I trade. But this is how I started off trading. I would just trade on basic things like these trend lines. And as I said, I tend to struggle staying in trades on days like today. And I did today too. So I traded the move down, and I ended up exiting right around here. All of the rest of my position, as it's just what I tend to do sometimes. I tend to, whether it's impatience or whatever it is, but green is green, as they say, right? So anyway, that's we could go back and get detailed and start doing measurements and things of that nature, but that'll be for another day, because this video is already getting past the time that I like to actually do these. So anyway, that's kind of where I am. What I'm looking for tomorrow, I don't exactly know, other than what I would like to see is a bit more downside to, kind of round out that, that broadening pattern. But, we'll just have to see what it gives us, right? We'll have to see. I would imagine there's going to be a bit more profit taking from the last 2 days. So either tonight or maybe sometime in the morning, we'll kind of start to come back and retest some of these areas that I was talking about, right? So I would assume that, we'll probably get up in this area here, start to do a retest, and then kind of go from there, then probably try to pull back down. That's the kind of stuff that I would just be looking for. But again, we don't really know until we see what tonight brings, what kind of movement tonight, and then we see what happens tomorrow with quad witching. So, all right, no more rambling. I'm just going to end it there. So Hope everybody's doing well. Have a great night, and maybe I'll see everybody tomorrow.